Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sell More Book Show, episode 467. I'm Brian Cohen from Best Page Forward, joined by Claire Taylor from FFS Media. Claire, it's springtime.
It is. We call that allergy season in Central Texas.
We do in North Carolina too.
It's really cold and overcast the last week, so it doesn't feel a whole lot like spring, but I really can't complain considering what's going on in other parts of the country.
True. So it's spring, which is a time of renewal. It's a time to say, oh, well, I didn't meet my 2023 goals that I set in January. What do people need to be doing here? What's a good look? They probably at some point in the next month will be able to get outdoors more. Like how can we reconnect with what we were hoping to do here in 2023?
Well, I think that a good sign of what matters to you is seeing what did and didn't get done. So if you've been keeping track of that, which I always suggest you do, even if it's just you don't need to plan ahead, but at the end of the day, write down what you've done. It's important because you can't reflect without good data. Otherwise, you're just getting emotional impressions, and that's not necessarily going to give you the best information for moving forward. But look at what you plan to do and what you didn't get done.
Yeah.
And ask yourself why you didn't do that thing. And that's going to be different for different people. It may mean that it matters a lot to you, but it doesn't matter as much to other people, so you didn't prioritize it.
Oh.
It could mean that it was extra stuff that when push came to shove, it was the first thing to get crossed off, and ask yourself why it got crossed off. That sort of thing. So, I'm looking at my Kanban board. There's a few things that I did not get done and that I will not get done. And so that's a process that I'm doing. And I have some time blocked off this week to sit and look at it and think about, why didn't I get all of this done? Generally for me, it is that I overestimated how much I could do.
Yep.
Or the project was really, really fun. and I have a tendency to save the fun stuff till the end of the day. And then I'm very tired and I'm like, well, it's just for fun anyway. Right. And my Enneagram type 1, we tend to look at everything that is important and purposeful, and we tend, for various reasons, to pick whichever one is least fun to do first. Because that somehow feels like it's a richer and more important thing to do. And also we assume that no one else will want to do it, so we'll do it ourselves, right? But sometimes people would like to do that. Maybe you should just pick the fun thing. So that's something that I have to keep an eye on.
It reminds me of the Protestant ethic and the spirit of capitalism.
Love it. Save the best for last and then don't get around to it.
And never enjoy. That's so interesting. Yeah, I think that these are good tips to hold on to for those of you who are getting into the spring. Please do. I don't have a lot of top of show stuff. I'm just excited for spring. Claire, any FFS stuff to say before we get into the show proper?
Nope. I am all booked up for March. And so I have opened up booking for April and May. If anyone wants some time with me, you can go to ffs.media/ let's do schedule story alignment. That's the scheduling one, but you can just go to ffs.media and you'll find all my services. And if you want to book time with me, in April or May, I expect that to fill up very quickly, especially as people reflect on the first quarter and go, okay, I can use some help. So.
Yeah. How lucky am I? I get to book time with you pretty much every single week, which is very
And
lucky.
I with you, Brian.
Yes. Oh, yes. And I with you. All right. So the question of the week last week, we kind of goofed a little bit, and this didn't end up getting into the after party, but I definitely wanted to discuss it. If you were to have your account taken down from Amazon, what would your plan be? I think if I did it, I would really go hard into direct selling off my website. I have a big enough email list. I would be able to do it. I would also make sure to have my book available on other platforms. Claire, what would you do?
I would do the same thing. I don't think that it's the end of the world. I think sometimes when these things happen, it can be really helpful for narrowing focus and for stimulating new creative thought. Now, I'm not putting a lot of my thought and attention towards developing my direct sales and my, wide platform on other retailers because Amazon's working really well for me. So that's a blessing and a curse, right?
Right.
If that limb gets cut off, my attention's going to go elsewhere, and I'm going to have new interesting ideas. It'll be like a fresh take, definitely direct selling and getting that set up. And then just letting my list know, like, hey guys, I got kicked off. And for some people that really gets them going, like, oh, let's support this cause.
Yeah.
But, I wouldn't sit and think of myself as, I would try not to get a victim complex, which I usually don't. But I think that's important for, moving forward, is just saying, this is what happened. The sooner I accept it, the sooner I can do something cool and new and fresh.
Yeah. The facts without injecting the feelings into it. This happened, and now what next thing do I do that isn't just complaining to the internet every day?
True. And that's not to say that if something doesn't happen, if something like this happens to you, you shouldn't recognize that you have a lot of emotions, because this is a very scary and emotional thing if you've built your platform on it, on Amazon or something similar. But just separate your feelings from what, you think should be the reality. I think that's, process your feelings, but accept that the reality is what it is.
Yeah. No, good advice. Let's go into today's top story. What About AIs Needs? The recent flood of AI-assisted artwork is showing no signs of slowing, and as a result, the U.S. Copyright Office has decided to update its guidelines on what can and can't find protection under copyright, reports Ashley Bellinger of Ars Technica. The new guidelines come soon after the recent decision by the office to not allow an AI-generated comic book. In that case, its decision upheld the long-standing legal definition that authors of creative works must be human to register works. Because of that definition, they determined that AI technologies will not be considered authors. Their new guidelines specify what types of AI works aren't eligible for copyright, such as AI works generated solely by prompts and unmodified by a human. Unmodified AI works would lack human authorship and therefore won't be registered. The office also shared examples of AI-assisted works that could be registered, such as modifying an AI image in Adobe Photoshop or altering AI-generated audio by using guitar pedals. The Copyright Office admits that these are still the early days, and many applications will be decided on a case-by-case basis. This spring, the Copyright Office will field public input on the subject, including how the law should apply to the use of copyrighted works in AI training and the resulting treatment of outputs. Claire, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. We still don't have a lot of information here on what's going to happen with AI, so we're going to meter these out as we have some information. All AI work, not copyrightable. Assisted AI work, copyrightable. Does that sound about like what's happening right now? I mean, it's tough to have a judgment call on this stuff yet.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm actually impressed by how quickly the Copyright Office has been moving on this, because these things tend to be very slow, but boy, has it been stress tested. So it's like, you can't ignore this problem. You can't be like, wait, what's going on? So that's good. I think this is interesting. I think that some people will be up in arms about this because there are going to be people who are gaming this, right? Like you have a completely AI generated image and you change one little thing that's hardly noticeable. Okay, I've touched it as a human. So, I changed the contrast on it or something, so it's human. Of course, people are going to be doing this. But also the fact that what do you think Adobe Photoshop uses for a lot of its changes? AI.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, it automatically generates when you remove remove something from the background, it can automatically like fill in the image. Like, so AI is already there, and it's already like an integral part of image making nowadays.
Yeah.
So I know that some people get really, really up in arms because they think AI is just like the Mid-Journey kind of generator, but it's been a part of the creative process, and humans have been interacting with it for decades now.
Yeah.
So I think that this is, it's going to be gamed, but progress marches forward, and we've been doing it, so people who are like hard and fast, like, no, absolutely not. This is where my ethical boundaries are. It's like, I've got bad news for you.
Yeah.
You might have been crossing those boundaries without even knowing it. So I think that this is, I don't know how I would do this better if I was the U.S. Copyright Office, other than there needs to be a little bit of human in it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It made me think of an off-color joke.
I know.
Yeah, but
I just thought of that. And,
yeah. Glad we're coming from the same place here, Claire. So, I agree. I don't know what I would have done differently here. Definitely, if you're like, well, I want to see the interesting things that are happening with AI that aren't necessarily people being up in arms about it. Go check out Steph Pajonis's group. I believe it's AI Writing for Authors. It's really, really interesting. I'm seeing like news stories that are coming up there almost every day with just how fast things are changing. But Claire, I have a question that is a hot potato of wisdom here. Well, it's come out of the microwave. So, Claire, how can authors make sure that their work is eligible for copyright protection? Should they use AI tools? A lot of what was discussed was the images. Also with their writing, how do you think they can try to make sure they are able to be copyrightable?
Well, I think if authors want to make sure their work is eligible for copyright protection when using AI, they have to be contributing to it, and not just as the prompter, but I think that it's a useful tool, but you can't do the whole job with it and expect it to, first of all, be, eligible for copyright, but be that good at this point. So you want to put yourself into it. And I also think that there's a huge risk of authors relying too much on AI and then becoming disconnected from their writing. And that's the number one danger for becoming burned out, is to become disconnected from your writing. So I think making sure that you're still connected to your writing in a lot of ways. You can use these tools if that sits right with you, if that works for you, if you have no problem with that, go for it. But yeah, I don't think that, as long as you're involved in it, as long as you've got that human touch on your writing, maybe you come up with a sloppy first draft with AI, and then you go in and do all the revisions and tweaks, then you should be good for copyright.
Yeah. No, great answer there, Claire. I'm ready to eat my potato.
Yeah. All right. What AI technologies are worth using, and what work is better left to humans?
So I think there are a lot of AI technologies that could be worth using. It really depends on what your goals are. I think that a lot of the AI technologies focus on drafting, quick outlining. The problem for me is that I love drafting and I love outlining and I hate editing. So personally, I would probably lean more towards improving the aspects of the process that are challenging for me. And for me, I would not be using prompts and I would not be using those kind of things for generation of material. I'm more of an editing person. That's where my need is. So I think it comes down to, for you, what human things do you dislike? Is there an AI tool for that? If you want to use AI, is there an AI tool for that? And if so, can you learn it? Are you willing to sit down and try to learn the technology? Because I think that's what I've seen. A lot of people who dislike drafting and dislike the outlining part of the process, they've found ChatGPT and these other programs very, very helpful, because now it has helped them in the area where they were weaker. And I think that's what all these technologies are meant to do.
Yeah, definitely. Don't give up the part that you like doing. which I could see people falling into, frankly.
I could see that too. Yeah. So I hear the rumbling in the, I don't know, in the heavens.
Rumble.
Here we go. We're still doing these sound effects because someone said they liked them. So
that's all it takes. One person.
It takes just one. It takes just one person. Claire, Book Talk, which got corrected to Book Took. Book Talk, seemingly unstoppable. Is there anything authors should do to appeal to this youthful book-buying generation?
This is such a hard question. Okay, is there anything that authors should be doing to appeal to this book-buying young generation? And I would say if you pander too much, you're going to get yourself into some trouble because you're going to go off the path. But yeah, I think that there is a lot of bleakness in the young generation, which may be warranted. I think you could provide something hopeful and hip without, that'll stand apart from some of the bleakness that gets picked up. And Book Talk is rewarding bleakness right now, so it may not be the best place to reach people with something else. I think people are adjusting to have it work on Book Talk, and that may be taking you away from where you want to be.
Yeah, that is something you definitely need to keep in mind. Once again, going back to before, don't take away the parts you love.
Exactly. All right, Bryan. Gen Z seems to love paperbacks, according to Business Insider. How should authors make sure their paperbacks are optimized for sale?
So Gen Z loves paperbacks. How do you make sure your paperbacks are optimized? You need to make sure that if you have the paperback for sale in various places, you've received this paperback. You need to order this paperback for yourself. Check the quality of it, because honestly, there are ways to get a higher quality paperback on Amazon. If you go through Ingram Spark, it'll be a little bit higher quality when it's sold through Amazon. If you do something even deeper, like Fulfilled by Amazon, you're an Amazon seller, you can print the paperback from wherever you want, and the paperback will be a higher quality. But you need to figure out how important that is to you. Children's book authors, they need to make sure the paperback is awesome. A regular fiction author who is popular on Book Talk, maybe you might want to go to a higher level with these things. A regular author who's never sold a copy on paperback but wants to get into Book Talk, it's too early for you. I wouldn't worry about it. Have your paperback available. Still order it to yourself, but don't necessarily go to higher priced trouble to try to make it more optimized.
Love it. And I want to add a pro tip. Can I add a pro tip in our lightning round?
Add a pro tip.
If you're publishing with something like Ingram Spark or Amazon and you're doing fulfillment through them, you want to make sure that your book spine is not drastically different in appearance from the front and back cover, because those lines will show. It will not be perfectly centered. So if you can get a single image that goes through from the front, wraps around the spine, and goes to the back, that's going to be the moneymaker right there.
Very good pro tip that I have dealt with in my time. So this kind of goes to our question of the week. Teacher and author Russell Nolte recently lost 15 years of Facebook posts and interactions when his account was closed down unceremoniously. What can an author do to protect themselves from losing contact with their readers?
So sometimes these big platforms can shut you down. And what you want to do to protect yourself from losing contact with your readers is to get them on your email list. This is not revolutionary. This is not brand new, but it's a good reminder that you will not lose them once you have their email addresses. You can download that CSV. So even if for some reason your mail service kicks you off, you have that information. You can reach them directly. It's really unfortunate that this happened to Russell, but it can happen. It's pretty rare, but it can happen. And so you just want to make sure that you have everything backed up. Also, if you're on Facebook, go download all your user data. You can do that and just have that backup. So if you do get shut down, you don't lose all your photos and communication, all that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Download that user data. Yeah, sorry.
Bryan, you ready for the next question?
I think so, even though I'm stumbling here. Yes.
Okay, so what are some good strategies to get readers from social media to join your email list?
when you're trying to get readers from your social media to your email list, you need to know and understand the importance of how a reader magnet and a lead magnet are actually different things. Damon Courtney really helped me understand this. Damon Courtney from BookFunnel. So a reader magnet is usually something at the back of your book that existing readers would love, like an expansion of this character's story. But a lead magnet, you're not going to appeal to just a general person who've never heard of you on a story that goes deeper into some character they've never read. A lead magnet is something where you are appealing to that genre. That genre reader would enjoy picking this thing up, which can be a short story of that genre, but you can't pitch it as going deeper on Kevin's journey because they don't care who Kevin is. It needs to be marketed as a short story that is a good example of this genre and that genre readers of that genre would love. That's a lead magnet that you need to be promoting on social media weekly to get people to go download that, get off of your social media and onto your email list.
Perfect.
Oh, thank you. I try. And Claire, perhaps prompted by Monica Leonel's reporting, Amazon follows are now displaying on the Author Central site. Should authors care about growing their followers?
I have wondered about this. Should authors care about growing their Amazon followers? It depends on the degree of caring. We don't know yet. We don't have enough data and information to know what that will do for you and how that will convert. So I wouldn't make it the top priority, but you might as well have a little thing at the bottom of your emails that goes out every so often and on your website, and maybe, drop it in your social media of follow me on Amazon. It couldn't hurt. And my guess is that it is in Amazon's best interest to get a bunch of people there and following you. So they may reward it with some good incentives, but that is all just kind of speculation at this point.
Yeah. No, I think that you're right. Don't put it in your top 3 things to focus on, please. Claire, we need a question of the week.
Okay.
We can talk about AI copyright. We can talk about whatever the heck we want.
Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about something like building the email list. Or How about what is one tactic you're using right now to get people from your social media to your email list?
I like that. So I don't even need to change it. One tactic that you're using right now to get people from social media to your email list. You can answer the question over at the Sell More Book Show After Party Facebook group, on our Sell More Book Show YouTube page, and you can answer it over at sellmorebookshow.com. Claire is booking up for April and May. Go to ffs.media/a bunch of random gobbledygooks. No, go to ffs.media and go book her for April and May because she will help you.
I will do my best.
That's all I got to say about that. And for me, I'm really trying to be out there on social media. If you see me, comment. And I might comment back because I really do try to reply to all of my comments over on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. So come see me. I'm out there. I'm
out there watching, always watching.
Always watching. Well, Claire, thank you. This has been a great show. I'm looking forward to doing this each and every week with you as per usual. And I hope that spring brings us all some great renewal that we are hoping for with focusing in on our center of what is important to us and what may not be as important.
Well said.
Thank you. So for Claire, I'm Bryan. Have a great week of book selling, everybody, and we'll be back next week with episode 468. Bye.
Bye.